All right, what's up, everybody? It's the I Hate Division previews. It's the last one. We're doing the NFC West and the AFC West tonight. We got three great guests coming on tonight. Ryan's on vacation this week, so we had to bring somebody else extra on tonight. Of course, we're going to be doing mock drafts for both divisions. We'll also do another episode of the Dynasty Bullshit and always the Nonsense Draft, which tonight we got an interesting topic. Let's go ahead and hit the drop and get into it.
Going for two, kickers are extra, I give them the boot. Ooh, going for two, sit back, relax while I grab me a brew. Ooh, now I'm reclining while putting my time and I'm ready to go. My spine is aligning and much my lineups, my bank account grow. I am so rich, but knowledge is all that I'm leaving it with. Ooh, listen to this, multiple options, how far can I get? Ooh, DFS Dynasty redraft tonight, I'm not finishing last. I'm finishing past any and all, I am looking to last. What else? This spot is popping and I am so locked in and only opening the door when it is opportunity knocking. And all of these spots keep on talking and talking. So what are we talking? What kind of alignment? And running it deep, even players forgotten or came from the bottom or hitting that top end. And this spot is popping, yeah, this spot is popping. And woo! This is the armchair, yeah. Put up your arms, yeah. Sound the alarm, yeah, yeah, yeah. Woo!
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 383 of the Armchair Fantasy Show. I'm your host, of course, Geoff Lambert. And follow me on Twitter at GeoffLambert77. Of course, we're live here every Wednesday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, Twitter, syndicated in all major podcast networks, and we're also, of course, at GoingFor2.com. My co-host Ryan is on vacation this week, so we had to bring on an extra guest. So we got three guests tonight. First up, we got Mr. Jerry Wilkie. Of course, he is the co-host of the Fantasy Assessment Podcast right here on the GoingFor2 Live Network. What's up, Jerry?
What's going on? Excited to be here. I think this is my first pod with you this season, so it's going to be fun.
Good stuff. We also have another co-host of the Fantasy Assessment. We got two of the three. We had the third one on a couple weeks ago. He came on and did one chew. But we got Rahul tonight. Of course, he's a co-host of the Fantasy Assessment Podcast, and he has his own thing as well going on right now. I'll let you talk about that a little bit, Rahul. Go ahead and give us your little rundown of Small Talk FF.
Yes, sir. Well, Geoff, thank you for having me back on the show. And actually, I believe I did the AFC NFC West preview last year as well. So good to make it 2-2. Just started making content on my own channel. You can follow me on Twitter at Small Talk FF. And so far, the biggest takeaway is the immense respect, even more respect I have now for content creators everywhere, especially those doing this on the side of full-time jobs. Shout out to everyone because it is difficult to keep up, but I'm enjoying it, very engaged, and looking forward to tonight. And yeah, all the content as the season approaches very quickly.
Good stuff. All right. And also joining us tonight, Miranda. She's a contributor for DraftCountdown.com, and you can follow her on Twitter at MurderSheWrote. What's up, Miranda?
Hello. Cool to be back. I think we did the mock draft.
We did the NFL mock draft. Yep.
Super fun.
Yep, absolutely. And so over at Draft Countdown, what do you do over there?
Yeah, so I am the straight up NFL contributor gal. Everyone else is deep in the weeds on like scouting and prospecting and all the college players. So I kind of bridge that gap with how not only they do in the NFL, but just the NFL in general. So looking forward to cranking some good stuff this year.
Good stuff. And Jamie said he followed you on Twitter today, and he's thanking you for the follow back. So.
Oh, yeah, cool. I do remember. Yep. Nice.
All right. Good stuff. All right. We're going to go ahead and premise the show. As always, guys, you should know this by now. We do our I Hate Division previews. Essentially, we're going to be doing the NFC West, AFC West tonight. We're going to mock draft those two divisions. Obviously, only take players from those divisions. Round one's typically pretty easy to do. It's when we get to the round two, when we get to those really deep dive guys, that it gets a little bit tough. But first things first, let's kick it off with our nonsense draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, tonight we are drafting things that if they were an Olympic event, you could win a gold medal in. It's a tough topic. All three of these people said that they had a tough time coming up with a couple options here. So I'm really really curious to see what they came up with. And Miranda, you have the 101 here, so kick us off. What would you things that if they were an Olympic event, you would get the gold medal in?
All right. I don't know if I should be like excited, proud, or like embarrassed, but I have Wisconsin blood in me because of my whole entire family, my parents. So it has to be drinking beer.
Nice.
Truly. I mean, people might look at me and go, there's no way she can drink like a 12-pack plus. It happens. And it certainly happens on Sundays with football. It's my religion every Sunday, and it's pretty impressive, I think.
Yeah, so all of my in-laws, my wife is all from
right.
Wisconsin as well, so I know all about that. I know me and
I
her
love that.
younger brother trying to go out to the bar, and I'm trying to match him drink for drink. It just it was never ended well. That's for sure. Never ended well.
I love it.
All right, Jerry, you're up at the 102 here.
Sort of on the same path, but to my Buffalo background, it's eating chicken wings. Any
Good.
flavor, any spice, dry rub, any sauce. Give me all the drums. I'll take the flats too, but give me all the drums. And I could pound the crap out of chicken wings.
Nice. Can you do the thing where they just put the whole thing in their mouth and just pull it out?
No, I like to savor and enjoy it.
Nice. Yeah. Good stuff. All right, Rahul, 103, what you got?
I'm going to go off the beaten path. I would win a gold medal there's this one video game called Football Manager. When I say football, it's actually the soccer side of the football. And basically, it's like dynasty mode, but you play it almost on Excel. You just set up the team, the tactics, and simulate the game. You actually don't control the players. If you play fantasy football and you like soccer, you like numbers, you have to try this game. It is extremely addictive. Ooh. I saw that over 7 years, I put over 1,400 hours into this game recently. So I feel pretty confident about getting a gold medal in this one.
Nice. 1,400 hours. That's quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
So I'm up at the 104. And so as a 47-year-old, this one's going to be a little bit embarrassing. But my gold medal is going to be TikTok binging. I could sit there on TikTok for hours and hours and just continually scroll through the next one and the next one. I know Ryan makes fun of me all the time. He thinks, he makes fun of me being old and being on TikTok all the time. But you'd be surprised some of the things that you can learn on TikTok, that's for sure. But TikTok binging is definitely my gold medal sport for sure.
It's good. I'm impressed.
Miranda, back to you at the 201 here.
I'm going to go with, so when I'm not just football obsessed or sports obsessed in general, I decompress by watching reality TV. So I would say it has to be just binging all of the reality. I mean, it's disgusting. Like I can watch 10 seasons in like a month's time and I work at home, so that helps. But my boss isn't watching. But yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Too bad Ryan's not on the show. That's kind of Ryan's thing too, is reality TV. Nice. Ryan's rarely late for the show, but there is one show he watches reality TV that comes on right before our show. And there's times where he's like, I might be a little bit late. Just start the intro without me. I'll be there.
Funny. Oh, I wonder what show. I'll have to ask.
All right, Jerry, what's your 202 here?
He sniped the TikTok one for me. So digging a little deeper down, I was going to go window shopping. Still do it now, but I did a lot more when my kids were a little bit younger. Just dress them up and just go around Target, Walmart, malls. I mean, you could call it a walk, but I'm going into stores and looking at stuff, and I can leave there without spending a dime. I just walk around and
how do you do that?
That's impressive. That's
I know.
That's talent right there.
Yeah.
I would say step one to that to not spending money is to not bring your wife, because if I brought my wife, we're leaving with something for sure.
That sounds right.
All right, Rahul, 203.
This might be a pretty bold take to say gold medal, but I think I could do it in Scrabble. I know a lot of words, to put it very simply. I'm a master at getting those little 2-letter connections here, there. Before you know it, I've got like 5 different words going on. So
nice.
I think I could ski my way to gold in that
one. Do you play that Words with Friends? My wife is like addicted to that game.
I think I've moved past that phase, mainly because I kept pestering people to play with me, and no one wanted to play with me after a certain point. But
Yeah, my wife
I
plays
have a
that.
pretty nice board that I got for my birthday. It totally like rotates on axis. It's like wood
Wow.
inlays and stuff. So
Nice.
I
So you're like a
do play a good
professional.
amount.
I like it.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, the 204, the last pick of this draft. I'm going to go with what I'm calling speed sleeping or napping. I could fall asleep in like less than 2 minutes, sleep for 20 minutes, and be up and be good to go. I do it pretty much every day at my lunch, at work. I go to my car. I can literally put the
Wow.
music on, lay my seat back, and I will be out in less than 2 minutes. I set my alarm to get up in 20 minutes. I'm up and I'm back at work and functioning perfectly. So speed sleeping is what I would definitely win a gold medal. And my wife calls it a talent. She gets so mad at me that I'll come to bed and she'll be like, unable to sleep, and I'll just lay down and be out in like less than 2 minutes.
Oh, I'd be furious.
That is
That's
skill.
impressive. Wow.
All right, so that is it for the nonsense draft. As always, I Hate Your Vision Previews is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their leading best ball leagues, huge tournaments, private leagues. And they got pick'ems for all major sports. The NFL futures are now also out as well. Sign up using our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match up to $250. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use promo code GF2. Start drafting your best ball leagues. I know I've recently entered probably 4 or 5 of the Scott Fishbowl satellite leagues. They've been, if you've been following their Twitter account, they've been giving away signed jerseys for signing up. You just sign up, take a picture of the draft that you're in, and send it to them on Twitter, and they put you into a draft for some signed jerseys. So if you check that out, again, that promo code is GF2 if you're not already on the app for Underdog Fantasy. All right, let me bring up the draft board here, and we can get ready to start the NFC West.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, and first up on the board with the 101 is you, Rahul. Go ahead and give us your 101, and it is super flex, so keep that in mind as we draft here.
That actually did throw a spanner into the works. Super flex, man. I think I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray at the 101. That last notice about the format definitely changed my pick from the person known as the 101 everywhere. But I think in this format I'll go with Kyler. I think he's being severely underrated in not just in redraft, but still in Dynasty. It's a guy who's never finished lower than QB6 in points per game in a fully healthy season. I think he'll have a massive bounce back, especially another year removed from the ACL tear.
Yeah, and that rushing ability definitely gives him the leg up in Superflex for sure. I mean, even when he was not performing well with his arm, his legs always get him extra points. And
yeah,
I think I agree there. I know you're talking about that you thought was going to go 101, but I think Superflex, I would go Kyler Murray as well.
I think so too. Even last season, coming off the ACL tear, he still averaged over 30 rush yards per game, which just not that many QBs can do. And especially when you're seeing an underdog, he's going around QB 8, QB 9. He's going in the second round of Dynasty startups. I just love the value there on Kyler.
All right, good stuff. Jerry, you were next up here.
I don't know if this is the guy that you were thinking of that could have been 101, but I'm going to take Kyren Williams.
That is definitely a surprise. I would not have gone that route, but okay. Talk about Kyren Williams.
It's really not a super stacked division with talent. I think Kyren is the best running back on the board. I could deal with either 2 of the other 3 quarterbacks. So I mean, hope one of them falls, and the wide receivers are pretty heavy out there. So I just wanted to get the best running back that was out there.
I think you're missing a very important running back. Maybe I should have written his full name out instead of abbreviated there. But
oh my God, yeah, you're right. Whatever.
All right, Kyren Williams. All right. So Miranda, you get to pick here at the 3 spot here. What do you got for your first pick?
That's Christmas in July for this July 31st. Hey, look, I get it. It happens. We know who I'm going to go with. We're going to go with CMC. I don't have to do too much explaining, I don't think.
Yeah, I think definitely Christian McCaffrey could have gone 101 really if you really wanted to put him there, but going Kyron Williams definitely surprised me there, Jerry. It's all right.
He's going to get hurt.
He's going to get hurt. There you go. All right. So I'm up on the board now. Christian McCaffrey, of course, off the board. Quarterbacks in a super flex league are definitely not the greatest. There are some good receivers still on the board too, obviously. I think the whole Christian McCaffrey dropping to third just threw off my whole game here. You know what? I think I will take. I'm going to go with last year's darling, last year's late, almost undrafted, and kind of blew up onto the scene there. I'll take Puka Nacua here at the 104. Back to you, Rahul, at the 201 here.
Man, I just gotta have to keep playing this format and take Brock Purdy with my second pick. Pretty safe quarterback. Maybe lacks that ceiling just with the way that offense is ran, but at the same time, the Niners, especially last year, just broke every single efficiency record there was to have in the NFL. I feel very comfortable with Brock Purdy. It's my QB2 in really any format. QB1, that's where you might start to lose those individual matchups against people in your league, but he's got a rock solid floor and can have those boom games on that offense. So I'll take Brock Purdy here.
Yeah, I like that. And I saw a video today that gave me some hope with Brandon Ayuk. He was dapping up John Lynch and Brock Purdy on the practice field today. So I have a feeling that there might be a contract here dropping here pretty soon. So that'll help Brock Purdy's status.
The funniest thing about that video, though, is I'd first see a tweet that says, like, oh, looks like Brandon Ayuk celebrating his contract with the 49ers GM. Oh, is he celebrating his trade accepted from the from the GM? So it's just that time of the offseason.
It is. Everybody's kind of speculating. My thought was that if he wouldn't be on the practice field if he was traded, right? That would be.
There's something about the way Shanahan really had a big wind up before he went in for that handshake. Makes me think that his contract accepted.
Agreed. All right, Jerry. After your gaff in route one here, you gotta make up ground here. What you got for your second pick?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Marvin. Give me Marvin Harrison. I was looking at Purdy here, but Rahul has to stack all the quarterbacks. So, Marvin Harrison. He's generational talent. I mean, Kyler, we should see a better year from him and just in the future. And I think he's the next best receiver on the board after, probably better than Nacua, but
next in the long run for sure. Yeah. I like Marvin Harrison a lot too. And I think he's going to get a monster target share. I think we saw when Hollywood Brown was healthy, when Kyler Murray was there, how much he targeted Hollywood Brown. I think Marvin Harrison, if he gets that kind of target volume, I think he's going to have a monster season for sure. All right, Miranda, you're up at the 203 here.
All right. I'm going to grab Matthew Stafford. Taking a gamble because we know he's not the healthiest of, I hate even calling him old because I'm older than him, I think, by like a year. But when Kupp, Nacua, and Williams are all on the field, he's got the third best QBR in the league. You can't deny that. So
yeah,
roll my dice for Matthew.
Yeah, great choice. Matthew Stafford for the longest time was Mr. Consistency, and he's dealt with some injuries over the last couple of years. But you used to be able to just lock him in for high 4,000, if not 5,000 yards plus. Yeah. And I think if he's fully healthy and his receivers are fully healthy and his running back, I think for sure he has a huge season. All right, I'm back up on the board here, and I'm probably going to be going receiver again. I probably should go quarterback, but I just can't take Geno Smith this high. So I will take the aforementioned Brandon Ayuk and hope that he signs with the 49ers. And, I think Brandon Ayuk was the epitome last year of efficiency, right? He didn't get as many targets as some of the guys that are ahead of him in fantasy points, but what he did with those targets and in that target share was just monstrous, right? He had, the highest yards per catch, yards per route run. His ADOT was one of the highest in the league. If he can repeat that kind of season, and there's no reason to think that he can't, it's wheels up for Brandon Ayuk for sure. So I'll take Ayuk here at the 204. Back to you, Rahul.
Yeah, a lot of great players gone off the board, but I think I will go with Deebo Samuel with my next pick. I think we're still in that sort of range of starting maybe from Puka, Marv, lower end wide receiver ones, high end wide receiver twos, going to be an integral part of really any team. And Deebo, he doesn't win on the field in fantasy like most other wide receivers. He's kind of an enigma. Ceiling is so high, finishes at wide receiver 9, I believe, last year. And I also just like with really all these 49ers, there's so many outs to upside. Say an Ayuk, a Kittle, a Deebo, CMC, any of those players get injured, the target boost that they could get really will make the rest of them superstars instead of just, great. So I'll take Deebo here.
Yeah, it's a great choice. And I think Deebo is what makes that offense go. I think last year when he was out for a few games, those are 2 of the games that we lost last year, because Deebo is sort of the key piece to that whole thing of running. And, he may not always get his, but he draws the attention, lines up in the backfield, confuses the defense. What's Deebo doing? And then the next thing you know, Christian McCaffrey's beating you. But Deebo is a huge proponent of that offense for sure. All right, Jerry, you're up at the 302.
All right. Well, that Deebo pick makes this pick a little easier because I was between the two. I'm going to take Cooper Kupp. I'm still punting quarterback here. Cooper Kupp. I think we all have high hopes for Stafford and the Rams offense. Maybe we get one final good year out of everybody on that offense, and Stafford throws for 5,000, and Kupp is over 1,200, and Puka's over 1,200 and 10 touchdowns. And I'm going to bank on that year coming a healthy Cooper Kupp year.
Yeah, I mean, really, that target volume is going to be, to those two, right? Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. It seems like those are going to be the 2 guys getting targets. Tyler Higbee is injured, probably not going to play this year, or at least very little if he does at all. Kyron Williams, of course, in the backfield catches passes as well. But for the most part, it's Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua, and there's no reason to think that Cooper Kupp can't have another good season. Good pick. All right, Miranda, you're up.
Well, I got a little sniped there because I wanted the stack, but that's okay. You did gift me CMC, so I can't be but so upset. I need a wide receiver. Let's go with my husband, DK Metcalf. Look, he finished over with 1,000 yards last year. I think the Seahawks receiving core is very interesting to me. I don't want to say they remind me of the Packers, but in some ways I do feel like the wide receiver 1 can change week to week based on matchups. But gun to head, I think I would still take DK over anyone else on that squad.
Yeah, DK, I think those 3 receivers there, Deebo, Cooper Kupp, DK Metcalf, you could pretty much put them in any order, I think. I think all 3 of them are kind of in that same range. I love DK Metcalf, and I've been drafting him in all of my redraft leagues. I actually might even have him in the Scott Fish Bowl. I do think he's going to have a nice, good season.
Cool.
So,
Yeah.
Metcalf is a good choice. All right, so I'm up on the clock here, and I will break the glass on the tight ends and take what many consider to be the tight end 2 right now, or maybe the tight end 3. Trey McBride in that Cardinals offense, of course, had a monster second half of the year last year. Really didn't play much at all in the first 6 to 7 weeks because they had Zach Ertz. Once he took over, he was being hyper-targeted. I know they got Marvin Harrison Jr. there, and he's going to take some of that target volume away, but I just still think that McBride, could sublet with the targets into some more red zone touches or red zone looks. So I think McBride is a great pick here in the 3rd round. So I'll take Trey McBride. And back to you, Rahul.
Yeah, I love that pick there. This is a tough one. If you'd asked me probably before today, I might have had these 2 players flip, but instead I'm going to take James Conner ahead of another running back that's available. But I'll go with Conner. A lot of news coming out in the last couple days and weeks about how Benson just doesn't seem ready. That was followed by news that Amari DeMarcado is the one taking the 3rd down snaps.
Yeah.
Michael Carter is mixing in. Really all that does is reinforce James Conner's role in the offense for me. I think he's going to be pretty much a workhorse again. I had to go back and double check because his receiving stats fell off a little bit, but actually if you look at the splits when Kyler came back, our little check down king, Tyler, just kept throwing the ball to James Conner. He's going to rack up those PPR, half PPR points, whatever you call it. He was an absolute beast down the stretch. And I think he's going to be great again this year.
All right, good stuff. James Conner off the board. Jerry, you're on the clock.
I'm going to go with the other top tight end in this grouping here. I'm going to go with George Kittle. Been watching a lot of receiver too, so falling in love with him a little bit more just outside of football. But I mean, I think he's still got it. Another guy that hopefully he could stay on the field for 15, 16 games. He's another weapon in that San Francisco offense. Is the reason why I wanted Brock Purdy, because he's got so many people to throw to, and he's one of those guys. So George Kittle.
Yeah, Kittle is a guy that, his floor is pretty low, right? Like there's games where like, okay, you're just going to block this game. You're barely going to go out and catch passes. But then the upside is huge. I mean, he had the game last year. I think he had 3 catches, all for over 30, 40 yards, and all 3 of them were touchdowns, right? He has those kind of games in him where he gives you that tremendous upside and can win you a week. So Kittle's, still one of the top tight ends in the league, and he's a lot of fun to root for, a lot of fun to watch. So yeah, great pick there, Jerry. All right, Miranda.
All right. Yeah, that was a really good pick. You're just sniping me again. I'm gonna go Kenneth Walker III. A little concerning. We don't know exactly how this offense is going to look with Grubbs, but he seems to be a more pass-heavy guy, so that's where the concern lies. But I think obviously they're going to run the ball. He had a pretty productive season last year. I know they have Charbonnet, but give me Kenneth.
Yeah, I think that's where I would have gone to with Kenneth Walker there. I was against the Charbonnet thing last year, and it didn't really come to fruition. I think Kenneth Walker had the better season, but Charbonnet is still there, and there's still potential that he could be used in that role. Kenneth Walker has never really been a great pass catcher, so there is a chance that he gets some of his stuff taken away. But I think in general, that offense will still go through Walker. So Great pick. All right, I am up on the clock, and I think that was the cliff right there. I think it gets a little tougher from here on out.
Yep.
So looking at the draft board, just to kind of talk through my process, a couple guys I'm looking at. I do like Jackson Smith-Njigba. I do think he, if not in week 1, by the middle of the season, has taken over the Tyler Lockett role. I think Lockett is there as a veteran presence, but I think JSN does eventually take over. Then you got guys like Blake Corum, which I know Jamie's in the chat. He's a big Blake Corum guy, but I think it's too soon for him. So you know what? I will take the last quarterback here and pull the trigger on Geno Smith, who had a down year last year after his big season a couple years ago, but I think the potential is still there for Geno. So I'll take Geno with the weapons that he has. I think there's a good chance that he has a good season. So it's a value for me at Geno Smith here in the 4th round. All right, Rahul, back to you.
Oh, this is getting a little bit tougher. I'll actually go with Blake Corum. May have been better served going with one of the wide receivers, but I think Blake Corum is just going to be one of those guys that I'm firmly on the side of the camp that he's nothing more than a handcuff. I don't really envision any kind of split where Blake Corum is a fantasy starter, even a flex-worthy player, while Kyren Williams is healthy. If Kyren Williams were to get injured, Blake Corum is going to be ranked as like a top 5, top 7 running back every week in that offense with the role we've seen, and without the threat of another running back, which is now why Kyren Williams is falling down draft boards. This is a pure upside swing, and one that I probably will be looking to take in a lot of my leagues. This could be the league winner if Kyren Williams gets injured. Yeah,
just to go on your handcuff, your narrative there, I agree 100%, because if you look at what Corum does and what Kyren Williams do, they're the exact same guys, right? They don't complement each other at all. They're basically the same player. So I don't see any situation where they're both going to be viable. I think Corum is there if Kyren Williams goes down like he did last year. I think Corum fills in nicely, and you're right. I think he gets a top 12 billing if he's the only guy in town. So good pick there. All right, Jerry, you're up.
All right. I'm going to go with JSN. I'm going to go Jackson Smith-Njigba over Tyler Lockett, over another running back. Just I think he takes a step up this year. I think that it's hard to really like put a lot of trust in Geno Smith supporting 3 wide receivers. Plus, you still want what you think that Walker's going to get in the run game. But I think that Jackson Smith-Njigba, he was one of the better prospects coming out of OSU, and I think that he's going to get quite a bit more targets this year and show why he was drafted as high as he was.
Yeah, I agree. I think people are down on Jackson Smith-Njigba, and if you look at his numbers last year, he broke some of the Seattle Seahawks rookie receiving records. For his quote unquote not a good season. I believe he had more targets than any other rookie receiver. That's with DK Metcalf being there. He was second or third, I think, in receptions. He had nearly 1,000 yards. I know he didn't break the 1,000-yard mark, but he came pretty close as the third wheel there. There's a good chance that he takes a step up and he overtakes Lockett this year. So I love JSN, and if you watched him towards the end of the season, Geno Smith started to trust him more and more. I think he had 2 late game winning touchdown catches towards the end of the season last year. So he will be in there in the crunch time. So I love JSN. That's a great pick. All right, Miranda, you're up.
I am going to go with one of your players, Geoff, on your team, which hurts my heart because they hurt my heart every year.
Yeah.
This is tough because I really need a tight end, but whatever. I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings, the third down extraordinaire. I don't know. He's like a fly that you can't kill. He just always seems to pop his head when you think something's done, and
Yep.
He's a clutch player. Like I can say from experience that he's clutch. And
yeah, they do a thing as to vote, for the player that has like the most hustle, that doesn't, show up on the box score. And I think he won it out of like 17 weeks last year. He won it like 12 times. Like he was just one of those players that does all the dirty stuff that you will never see.
That's pretty cool.
If you ask the other receivers on the team, they will say he has the best hands of all of them. And, he's had some great catches over the years. So yeah, that's a great choice. All right. So I'm on the clock now. Don't think I can pull the trigger on any of the tight ends there. Receivers are pretty. You know what? I'll stick with the 49ers, and I'll take the other receiver that they drafted this year. I was a little surprised they took him as high as they did, but 49ers have done some things in the past that surprised me and then ends up working out. So I'll take Ricky Pearsall here. I don't know if he's got a huge role if all 4 of our playmakers are healthy. But if Debo or Ayuk were to miss time, I think he steps right into either one of those roles. He has the skill set to take over for either one of them. And, there's a chance that he's also going to be a kick returner and punt returner, which works out in the Scott Fish Bowl if you're playing in the Scott Fish Bowl, because I actually took him in the Scott Fish Bowl, hoping that he gets that returner job. But yeah, I'll take Ricky Pearsall here with my my 5th pick in this draft. And Rahul, we're on the last round here. What you got?
Yeah, so I think I'll just fill out my lineup by taking a tight end. Funny, it's a division with 2 of my favorite sleeper tight ends as well as 2 of my favorite deep sleeper wide receivers, but I can only have one pick, and that will be Noah Fant of the Seahawks. I'm just really excited, not just by the change in the OC that Miranda mentioned a little bit earlier, but also the departures of both Will Dissly and Colby Parkinson to the Rams. Fant was a first-round pick, near 4 or 5 years ago now, so I don't know if that means much. Has had a few all right seasons in Denver, really hasn't got going in Seahawks in Seattle, but the room clearing up, there's been some positive chatter. I don't mind taking a shot like this late on in this draft, late on in real drafts.
Yeah, he really was when he first came out. He was like, the athletic guy, and
right.
They really thought he could be something special, and he just never kind of panned out. I think the ability is still there, so at this point in the draft, worth taking a shot on for sure. All right, Jerry, your last pick here. What you got?
All right, I'm taking a out on the limb pick. You're gonna have to write him in. I'm gonna go with Sam Howell to get a quarterback. I think of the 4 starting quarterbacks in this division, outside of injury, I think if there's one that has a chance to be benched, it's Geno Smith. the Seahawks did send. They got some picks back too, but they did send a top 80 pick to get Howell, the 78th overall. So, I mean, the only downside to this is Geno has a pretty significant cap hit. So, I mean, he'd have to be pretty rough and Seahawks not winning games for him to probably see the bench and Howell come in. But I think if Howell comes in, he has those same weapons that Geno has with the 3 wide receivers and Walker, and he could probably have some decent fantasy weeks.
Yeah, and the thing about Howell is he's a gunslinger, right? He's a guy that he just takes chances. And if you got a guy like DK Metcalf out there, he could just throw it up. DK's out there somewhere, just toss it up and hit him. So yeah, if he gets his opportunity for sure, he could definitely pan out. All right, Miranda, your last pick in this draft.
All right, let's go another receiver because no tight ends for this one tonight. We're gonna go Zay Jones. It's a little tired of a pick, but Marvin's going to be hounded a lot. Zay can create some separation. We'll finish it off with
Zay Jones.
Mm-hmm.
Zay Jones will always have a special place in my heart because I played daily fantasy, and the week that he had the 3 touchdowns in Jacksonville, I had him as a super low-owned receiver, and he won me a lot of money. So Zay Jones, I love that pick for that reason.
Shout out to Zay.
All right, I am up with the final pick in the draft, and I will bet on 100% on the upside. I know Rahul talked about him a little bit earlier. They're kind of poo-pooing him a little bit in the camp right now. The rookie's behind 2 other guys. He's not getting the work. But if given the opportunity, Benson is explosive and can be a running back to take over for Connor. So I will take the ultimate upside of Trey Benson here with my last pick. All right, that wraps up the NFC West division draft. We're going to do some dynasty bullshit. So let me explain to y'all how this works. So essentially, I'm going to give you a benchmark stat of a player. So let's say for this particular example, we'll use 1,000 yards receiving, right? And I'm going to tell you how many players have this benchmark within the division. So we'll do say AFC West. Say 1,000-yard receivers in the AFC West. There are 8 players that hit that benchmark. How many can you name? And I'll start with, let's say, Jerry, and he'll say, you know what, I think I can name 6 of them. And then we'll go to Rahul, and Rahul can either say, I can name 7 of them, or he can call bullshit on Jerry and make Jerry name the 6 that he thinks he can name. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get called bullshit on and you name all the players, you get 2 points. If you are the one calling bullshit on somebody and they don't name it, then you get the 2 points. And if we get to the point where somebody names all 9 or 10 players, they get 5 points. All right, makes sense to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'll start with you, Miranda. This is the benchmark. Players from the AFC West to rush for at least 300 yards last season. Players in the AFC West to rush for at least 300 yards in 2023. And they had to be in the AFC West last year. So if they've changed teams this year, it's all based on last year. There are 9 total players, and it's all players. It's, quarterback, running back, whatever. 300 yards. You got 9 players. How many can you name?
Oh my gosh. It's going to take me too long to think. I could probably name 4 off the bat.
All right. And just a little bit of a cheat. Some of the names are going to be on your little sheet there that I got. So you can use that as a little guide. But so you're going with 4.
True.
All right.
Yeah,
Rahul,
you can put me down for 4.
Rahul, do you want to go 5 or do you want to call bullshit and make her name those 4?
I'll go 5. I'll go.
All
5.
right. Rahul's going 5. Jerry, can you name more than 5 or are you calling bullshit?
This is 9. I can name 6.
Ooh.
All right. You name 6. Miranda, you calling bullshit on Jerry or are you going to go 7?
I'm going to call bullshit, Jerry.
All right, Jerry, you got to name 6.
Good luck me. And I can bring up that sheet you said?
Yeah, you can use the sheet to. Not all of them are going to still be in the division, but
yeah, most of them actually are, I don't think. All right, so Jacobs
is 1.
Mahomes.
That's 2. Good. I didn't think nobody would get that one, but that is a good call.
Javante.
Javante is 3.
And let's see here. We got Pacheco.
Pacheco's 4.
We got Eckler.
Eckler is 5. You need one more.
And did he? I'm going to say, what the fuck was he last year? Russ.
Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
Good call. Yeah, got all 6.
Nice.
That is awesome.
That was smart.
So let's see. The ones you missed a little bit tougher. I thought no one would get the quarterbacks. That was good that you got both quarterbacks. Jaleel McLaughlin was one that you didn't mention. I don't think you said Zamir White, right?
No, I was on the fence with him.
And then the really hard one was Joshua Kelly. I don't know if anybody would have gotten Joshua.
Oh, wow.
If I would have guessed another Charger, it would have been Herbert. I was trying to do the math.
Yeah, Herbert just missed. He was like 286, I think. He just
running for his life.
Exactly. All right, so Jerry gets the 2 points in that round.
Nicely done.
All right, this time we'll start with you, Rahul. This is the benchmark. Players in the NFC West to catch at least 50 passes. There are 11 total players in the NFC West to catch at least 50 passes. How many can you name?
Let me go with 6.
All right, 6. And we'll go counterclockwise this time. So Miranda, can you name more than 6, or are you calling bullshit?
You said there's 11?
11 total players to catch at least 50 passes in the NFC West.
I'll go 7. I think I could scrounge 7.
All right,
maybe.
7. Jerry,
Yeah,
can you go 8, or are you calling bullshit?
I'm going to call bullshit on that.
All bullshit. All right,
Not
Miranda,
8.
can you name 7 players that catch at least 50 passes in the NFC West last year?
50 passes. All right, so we're going to load up on the 49ers here. We're going to go Ayuk.
Yep.
Debo.
Yep.
Ooh, that one's tough. Maybe I'm going to chill on that one. We'll move over to Puka.
Yep, that's 3.
DK Metcalf.
That's 4.
Let's go. Ooh, that's rough.
It gets a little tight right here.
Yeah.
Some of them just made it.
I know, and that's what I'm like, ooh. I'm gonna YOLO with Juwan Jennings.
Juwan Jennings did not get 50 passes last year.
Okay.
So the other ones were, you could have stuck with the 49ers. George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey both did it.
Christian McCaffrey.
I don't think you said
forgot
Cooper
McCaffrey
Kupp, did
today.
you? You said Puka, but you didn't say because Cooper Kupp is on the list.
Yeah.
Trey
I couldn't remember
McBride.
his injuries. I was like,
Yeah,
shit,
it was
but-
tough. I was a little unsure too. I think he just got there, but Trey McBride, Hollywood Brown, and then all 3 of the receivers from Seattle: Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and JSN.
Damn, Tyler Lockett.
Yep, Lockett got it as well.
Okay.
All right, good call. So Jerry, you're the winner in this round. I think you got the 2 points in both rounds. So good stuff.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the AFC West draft.
Attention, everyone. Let's mock draft.
All right, let me bring up the draft board here. Let's get the new one. All right, let's get this started. And the 101 in this one is you, Jerry. Who do you got for your 101 Superflex in the AFC West? And if you pick anybody but the who should be the 101, you're not invited back.
Let me just scan the list real quick. All right. I'm going to go with 1 Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, that is a pretty easy choice there, I would think. So yes, Patrick Mahomes is the 101. Anything you wanted to talk about with Patrick Mahomes? Anything that?
I mean, he's top for fantasy, top 5 quarterback in the league. He's got some new weapons this year. He does offer some rushing upside, not as much as like the Lamars and the Josh Allens, but he does offer some rushing upside. Can get you 35 to 40 passing touchdowns. He's still got his best friend Travis Kelce there, so I mean, you can't go wrong with that pick.
Good stuff. All right, Rahul, you're up at the 102.
I know this one is super flex, but I think I will actually go with. Oh man, there are actually a lot of great players here. I'm gonna stick my guns. Make sure I get this guy, Isaiah Pacheco. I'm projecting a huge year from Pacheco this year. Really down the stretch, if you look from week 12 on, that was the first time that Pacheco played a 70% snap share. From week 12 through the Super Bowl, had 70% snaps in all but one game, and that one game was his first coming back off an injury. In that period, he also had 4+ targets in 6 games. He basically took on a bell cow role in what we project to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. Really, the depth chart is completely cleared behind him. McKinnon's off the team, which is crucial for pass catching work. I think Pacheco's going to have a great year.
Yeah, Pacheco surprised me last year because that was the one thing I was said coming into the season was that he wouldn't catch passes, and he caught a shit ton of passes last year. So, yeah, that wheels are up for sure for Pacheco. I'm with you as far as him having a big year. So I love it. Great pick. All right, Miranda, what do you have for your first pick here?
I'm gonna go. I didn't go this strategy last round. I'm gonna have to go Justin Herbert being the super flex. Should be a big improvement with Alt in there. Hopefully this whole entire team in City stays healthy because Jesus, last year was just brutal. Obviously Harbaugh coming in, I don't know. I think the departure of Staley should help things tremendously, and
I agree.
We should kind of see Justin get back on track a little bit.
Yeah, I think he slipped a little bit in drafts, and I think that's unfairly. I think he's had a decent season this year, so good pick. All right, I'm up on the clock, and there are really 2 guys that I'm looking at. One of them is a receiver. Unfortunately, I think his quarterback situation might hurt him a little bit. Talking about Devontae Adams, I will go with Mr. Taylor Swift here, Travis Kelce. I think the talk of his downfall is a little overstated. I think everyone's kind of talking, oh, he wasn't that good last year. Well, he was tight end 2. So if tight end 2 is a bad season, give me Travis Kelce. Obviously, him and Patrick Mahomes have that chemistry, so I think there's no issues with Travis Kelce here. So I'll take him at the 104. Jerry, back to you.
All right. Well, I was going to stack them, but I guess I'll take the other one that you were talking about. I'll take Devontae Adams. I'm not too worried about the quarterback situation. Whoever the quarterback is should hyper target him. I mean, the team overall should be better, get a full year under the head coach, and they brought in some weapons and changing of the guard at running back position. So they should be passing more because they don't have Josh Jacobs there anymore. So I'll take Adams.
Yeah, that's a good call without Josh Jacobs being there. You're right. I mean, Zamir White is, not Josh Jacobs. Let's just put it that way. So it's a good call. All right, Rahul, you're up.
I'm going to go with Rashee Rice. Obviously, an eventful offseason, to put it lightly. As time goes on, we have a civil court case date set for December. No criminal court date set yet, and that's usually what the NFL uses before they act. As time goes on, the likelihood of a 2024 suspension really diminishes. So I've been trying to mix him in underdog. I got him in the Scott Fishbowl draft, did a combined dynasty Devy draft that I also took Rashee Rice in.
Nice.
But if he's on the field, I mean, he should be a monster, especially in PPR formats. I really like the additions of both Hollywood and Xavier Worthy for Rashee. Even if target competition increases, I think those 2 profile as deep threats will stretch the field. Obviously going to have to go too high up against Patrick Mahomes, and that just leaves so much space underneath for Kelce and, of course, Rashee Rice to do what they do. Bit of a gimmicky route tree. He's maybe not the most technical wide receiver, but he's really explosive after the catch. And I think he's, suspension permitting, Rashee Rice should have a great year this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think if all things, being equal, I think Rice is the one I want to own. It's
Right.
that looming potential suspension that you got to worry about. But if you don't think it's going to happen, then I think Rice is the one you want to own of those three receivers for sure.
Yeah.
All right, Miranda, you're up.
I am gonna go with a guy who should have a huge year, being that Josh Jacobs left and went to my team. We're gonna go Zamir White. I mean, when he filled in for Jacobs last year, like 4 weeks or something.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was insane. And the fact that now this is, his team. I know they have Madison, but he should be the guy in the backfield. I think he has a big year.
Yeah, I agree. I think that head coach has come out publicly and said that he wants to run the ball, and then run the ball some more. So I think Zamir White fits that profile perfectly. There's a reason they call that guy Zeus. So yeah, I think Zamir White is a great pick there. All right, I am back up on the clock, and talent has kind of really fallen off pretty quickly.
I know.
A lot faster than the last draft that we did. I'm like looking at these receivers and I'm like, there's really not a whole lot.
Because we don't have your 49ers on here.
Yeah,
stacking up talent.
All right, so I think I'm gonna. Oh man, I guess I'll go back to the well here and take another receiver out of that Chiefs offense. It's just a matter of which one do I want to take. You know what? I'm going to take the new hotness. I'm going to take Xavier Worthy. I could go Hollywood Brown there. It's a little bit more of a proven commodity, but they drafted Xavier Worthy to be that guy. I think he's going to be that guy. He'll have his weeks where he doesn't do much. I think there was a viral video that came out today with him being just punked at the line of scrimmage like a little kid, which makes me nervous a little bit, but hopefully that Andy Reid can scheme up some things to get him from getting bump and run on the line, get him open downfield and give me some of those 60-yard touchdowns that I hope that we can get from him. So I'll take Worthy here. Jerry, back to you.
I'm going to go with the rookie that the Chargers drafted, Ladd McConkey. I got thoughts that another wide receiver could end up being the wide receiver one in this offense, but I'm going to take the young hotness and somebody that they spent a second round pick on, and I don't remember if they moved up for him or not, but I know that they spent a second round pick on him, and he can work all over the field. He's bigger in size, but he can catch from anywhere. So give me Ladd.
Good stuff. Yeah, I realized I don't even have him on the show sheet there. So great pull. I had to add them in real quick and there just so I can cross them off because I'm like looking around like I don't see him on my list. Good call. All right, Rahul, you're up at 302 here.
Geoff did not only not have Ladd McConkey, he has no Chargers wide receivers on this list. He has the wide receiver 4 on the Raiders, on the Broncos, and not a single Charger wide receiver. Great pick, Jerry. I think especially for a rookie, Ladd McConkey is going to have a great year. I'm going to go with a different rookie, the one I actually thought you would take, but that is the tight end Brock Bowers, the Raiders. Bit of a cloudy situation this year, of course, with Devontae expected to hog targets. Jacoby Myers is definitely no slouch, and they'll run the ball a lot. But Brock Bowers is just different, right? Like, he won't be your traditional inline tight end. They're going to move him all across the formation. He'll probably play out of the slot a lot. If he can get going, might be a little tough early on, but the sky's really the limit with a player like this. He could break fantasy from that position.
Yeah, I almost took him with my pick in the second round there because the upside is definitely there for sure. I just think tight end is such a hard position to jump into the NFL. I think he might struggle early on, but Bowers is a great pick. So good stuff. Miranda, your third pick in the draft. What you got?
All right, Denver's going to be a weird team where none of us are shocked. So I think, if we're assuming Bo Nix is starting or whomever is starting, I think they're going to rely on a guy who is reliable, and I think that's Courtland Sutton. I mean, he had a pretty solid year last year. I know he wasn't at 1,000, but close-ish, 10-ish touchdowns, and I think this year he has an opportunity to kind of break that 1,000-yard mark.
I like it. I like that pick. He did have a sort of a bounce back season last year, and I think it was touchdowns that got him there. I think you're right. I think he had 10 or 11 touchdowns. It's a good call. All right, I am back up on the board here, and the talent has dipped considerably. But I think I'm going to go with a quarterback that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Miranda, in our mock draft way back in April, I believe you took this rookie quarterback to the team that he ended up on with the Denver Broncos.
I got so much shit for it too.
Yes, you did.
You gave me kudos. You gave me kudos on draft night.
Yep. So great pick. I will take Bo Nix here. I think it is the perfect marriage. I think Bo Nix, if you were to give him an NFL comp, Drew Brees isn't a bad comp to give him. The way he kind of manages the field, the screen passes, and underneath, very, very safe. I think he has the Drew Brees type. And, of course, Sean Payton is the coach there, so that helps out. So I'll take Bo Nix here. All right, Jerry, you got your fourth pick in the draft.
All right, I'll get us a little stack here. I'll take Hollywood Brown. I think he's the receiver making the most money in the room, even though it's just a one-year contract. They went out, they got him, brought him in. He fits to Mahomes' strengths. I think that he's done well with Lamar Jackson, who's not as good of a passer as Mahomes. He's done well with Kyler Murray, who's also less good of a passer as Mahomes. And now he gets the best quarterback that he's had in his short career. And he's got a 1-year prove it deal. He goes out, balls out, and wins me a fantasy championship in this little league that we got.
I love it. And that's a great little stack you got there. Those receivers are going to be hard to figure out, right? Those three guys, it's going to be a little bit of whose week is it, so to speak. And I think it's going to be a little bit of that. But I think Hollywood Brown is as good as the other two. So, yeah, great pick. Rahul.
Man, I really don't like this player that much.
That's never a good start.
I know, which honestly might not go across well in the Twitter sphere because he is quite a popular player with a lot of analysts. But I'm going to take Javonte Williams. I don't know. He's just never really spoken to me. Now, with a little bit more of a dip, there were a couple now what seemed like bullshit beat reports that Javonte was actually on the roster bubble. Next day comes out, he's taking the first, majority of the first team reps. So that slight dip in value led me to drafting him for the first time this offseason, and I'll draft him again here. Really the biggest thing, even though it's such a crowded backfield, is that Sean Payton offense, that Bo Nix, not great arm, that tendency to dump the ball off. He could be peppered with so many targets and really almost scam himself to like a mid RB2. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised if he's going as like RB 28 to 35 in a redraft format in ADP. So Javonte is going to be a very solid player. There is more upside. I'm just not the biggest fan personally.
Yep. Oh, that's a good call. And you're right. I think he gets the volume there. I think Sean Payton has always done sort of a running back by committee, but I think he leads that committee. So that's a good call. All right, Miranda, you're up.
I don't love this pick either, but it is getting a little rough out here in the streets. So I'm going to go with Harbaugh joining the Chargers. You expect kind of a carry-heavy load. Kind of tough to choose in some ways, but I think with Dobbins coming back from his Achilles, I'm going to go Gus Edwards. I think he's going to pick up the slack there, at least for the first half of the season.
Yeah, I think Gus Edwards fits that offense and that coaching staff perfectly, right? Because they've been known to not throw the ball to the running back, and that's one thing that Gus Edwards does not do. He does not catch passes.
Nope.
So he's just going to be carrying the heck out of the ball, and that's kind of what they want to do there. So yeah, that's a great pick. All right, so I'm up on the clock, and let's see what I'm going to go with here. I'm looking at the receivers. Troy Franklin still on the board. Marvin Mims, who was a popular Scott Fishbowl guy because of his potential returning ability, he's still on the board. You know what? I'm going to take a stack here. I'm going to get the other rookie in Denver and take Troy Franklin. I already have his quarterback. I hope there's some chemistry there. We've seen in the past where quarterbacks and receivers that start their careers together ended up being, pretty well. So I think I'm going to take Troy Franklin. Even though I'm not a huge Troy Franklin fan, I was down on him coming into the draft. In this particular mock draft, because I have Bo Nix, I might as well take Troy Franklin as well. All right, Jerry, back to you.
I'll go with the other Chargers running back. I'll take Dobbins. I'll take the chance on him. I was kind of between the two of them, hoping that I would have preferred Edwards, but I'll take Dobbins. Little dump off passes in the backfield, and hopefully could get more than 5 games out of him.
Yeah. Yeah, the upside was there for Dobbins, right? I mean, whenever he was healthy, he was good. It's probably he was just never healthy. That's the problem with him. So hopefully he can get back to being healthy and has a decent season. All right, Rahul, 502 here. What you got?
Massive reach, but I just want to talk about this guy. I drafted him last year when he wasn't even on the sheet. This year, he's getting some training camp buzz again, and that is Deneric Prince, running back, Kansas City Chiefs. So far, honestly, does look like the second choice based on, kind of the order of workload. Didn't get a single regular season carry, so we don't really have much to work on. What we do is his speed score, his athleticism, the RAS score ranked really highly, and that has a very strong correlation with production. If he has wrestled away that backup running back role, this is going to be a priority handcuff. We may not get the answer. Maybe we'll see in preseason. Of course, CEH is still there, but if Pacheco goes down, you're walking into a gold mine of a fantasy role. So I will take Deneric Prince here.
I love it. And it's funny because I'm in 6 dynasty leagues, and they're all on sleeper. And when that note came out that he was getting first team carries, I woke up the next day and there's a little dot next to all 6 of those leagues, and I opened it up and each one of them was somebody adding Deneric Prince to their team. I was like, okay, this is Deneric Prince day, so I love it.
Yeah.
All right, Miranda, 503.
Give me Jacoby Myers. He does some work out there. I read a stat recently that him and Tay, they accounted for 53% of target shares, just those two. It's highest in the league. And, AOC, I think, is going to be the starter. And he was kind of the guy last year for half. And I mentioned this in the last draft with other folks, but I think Devontae is often kind of bullied out there, and Jacoby's pretty reliable. So
yeah, it's funny. He was kind of known as the guy that didn't catch touchdowns, and then he went out last year and had 8 touchdowns, right? I mean,
right.
He was the Patriots, he couldn't catch a touchdown to save his life, and he goes and has 8 of them last year. So yeah, that's a great pick there. All right, I am back on the clock. Man, tight end is really, really ugly. I guess I have Travis Kelce, so I don't need to even look at those tight ends anymore. Jacoby Myers just came off. That's someone I was looking at. You know what? I'm going to go with a guy that I've been drafting. Actually, I've been getting him as a free agent after my rookie drafts in Dynasty. We've already taken the other 2 Chargers running backs, so I'll go with the third guy that I think has tremendous upside if given the opportunity. He's an athletic freak. Kamani Vidal. He's a name that if you don't play Dynasty, you probably never heard. But when you got Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins in front of you, there's a good chance you're going to get opportunity at some point. Neither guy is the picture of health. Gus Edwards, if they do pass the ball to the running backs, Gus Edwards doesn't catch passes. Vidal does, so he can be the pass catching back there as well. So I'll take him with the upside here in the 5th round. Jerry, back to you.
All right, I'm just going to fill out my roster, fill out the starting lineup, and I don't want to put too many ducks into the Chargers offense, so I'll just go with Adam Trautman, tight end. Let's got a little piece of each of the teams in the division here. It's really hard to choose between him and Dulcich, but let's take Trautman.
Yeah, I think it's going to be like a tight end by committee there, which is never a good thing in fantasy. So you pick your poison, either Trautman or Dulcich. So, yeah, I like that. Troutman's got the history with Sean Payton, of course. So, good pick. Rahul, last pick here.
Fill out my team as well, and maybe this is the right division to just let whatever quarterback come to you at the end. Tough one because it's actually undecided so far, the Raiders quarterback situation, but I'm going to follow the money and take Gardner Minshew. Wasn't too bad on the Colts team. I mean, even fantasy wise, wasn't really too bad. Actual play probably dip below league average. But I have a lot of faith that he can lock on to Devontae Adams and feed him the ball. And that may give you, a boom week here and there. So I don't mind Gardner Minshew as my quarterback.
Yep, great pick there. I agree. I think Aiden O'Connell, has a little bit more upside. I just don't know if he's quite ready.
Yeah.
I think it might be a situation where they both play this year. I think, Minshew maybe starts the season and Aiden O'Connell works his way in the middle of the season. So,
yeah,
good pick. All right, Miranda, your last pick here. What you got?
I need a tight end again, and this is bad.
If you're going to wait on a position, I guess tight end is the one to wait on, right?
It is. Right. If this was practice, I wouldn't be too hard on myself. Hayden Hurst will reunite with Greg Roman. So there has to be a little bit of positivity there. So I'm not quite sure what to expect in that offense, but I would think he gets a little love over there.
Yeah, I think Will Disley is listed as a starter, but I think I agree with you. I think Hayden Hurst is the one you want to own. I think he has the touchdown upside. I think he reunites with the offensive coordinator that drafted him way back in Baltimore. So, yeah, I like that pick for sure. All right, I am up with the last pick in this draft, and I will go with a guy that I did not have on the show sheet whose name is escaping me right now, Quentin Johnson for the Chargers. He's another guy that I wasn't super high on coming out of college, had a bit of a rough rookie season, but last pick in the draft, his upside is tremendous, a lot like Troy Franklin in that sense, where he's a smaller, fast guy. He's just one of those they expect him to beat him deep. But Quentin Johnson at this point in the draft, I think, is a value. So give me Quentin Johnson to finish us off here. All right, that wraps up our AFC West mock draft and wraps up the show as well. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming on the show tonight. It's been a lot of fun. We'll go around the room real quick. Give us your Twitter handle. If you want to plug any of your content, you go ahead and do that as well. We'll start with you, Rahul.
Yeah, first of all, Geoff, thank you for having me on. It's blast as always. Jerry, I see you all the time, so good to see you again. Miranda, very nice to meet you.
You too.
But yeah, really great show. You can find me on Twitter at SmallTalkFF. Really, any other social with some kind of combination of small talk and sports. As I said at the start, really trying to pump up my content game. Been a little inconsistent, but having a great time while doing it, and always down to chat fantasy. Also have a soccer show that may be coming to GoingFor2 very soon, called the 1-2. Those are my two loves, football and football. So any time I'll be down to talk. But yeah, thank you so much, Geoff, for having me on.
Absolutely. Jerry?
Yeah, this show was fun. You can follow me on Twitter at JerryWilkieFM. You can see me and Rahul and our other partner, Chu, every other Thursday on the fantasy assessment. And only a couple more weeks until regular season starts, and we officially have football tomorrow, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Hall of Fame.
Yeah. All right, Miranda.
Well, I'm an idiot and didn't put my handle there. It's past my bedtime, okay. But you can find me at Mirda She Wrote, Mirda She Wrote, and starting in the next 2 or 3 weeks-ish, I'll be cranking out weekly content for Draft Countdown. You can follow them at Draft Countdown.
Good stuff. Thank you all once again for coming on. Great show.
Thank
This
you.
wraps up our I Hate Division previews. So this was the last show of the month. Me and Ryan are going to take a break next week, and we'll be kicking off a lot of our redraft coverage in 2 weeks. But as some of y'all know, I do DFS, and my favorite thing on DFS is actually DFS preseason. So you can be looking for some of the content that I'm going to be releasing here pretty soon. I had my biggest win ever in DFS preseason. It's all about scouring Twitter and looking for those random names that are going to be playing in those preseason games that you don't know. So be on the lookout for that stuff. But as always, you can follow me on Twitter at GeoffLambert77. Follow all of them on their Twitter handles as well. Appreciate you once more for coming on. Miranda, Jerry, Rahul, and we will see y'all next week.